In the world of college football these days, there's two ways of thinking. The first is you go with quantity, add in as many players as possible and hope a few stand out. Then there's quality, where you're adding in only a handful of names, but those are going to be difference makers the second they arrive on campus. And Texas, they've done the latter so far, adding in guys like Trey Moore from UTSA, Andrew Mbuka from Clemson, Matthew Golden from Houston, and of course Isaiah Bond from Alabama. They've just doubled down and added in yet another Crimson Tide pass catcher as Amari Niblack is now coming to the 40 acres. What does this do for Texas's roster? How does this affect the offense? And are the Longhorns actually the number one threat to dethrone Georgia in the SEC? Why don't we go ahead and discuss? But if you are new here, welcome on into the channel, people. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I get it. Season's over. We got to look ahead to 2024, but I'm going to keep you entertained throughout the offseason with a bunch of content, recap in 2023. A surplus of talent is entering the transfer portal, so that's content for days. A look ahead to 2024 and a bunch of other nonsense. So if this is the daily fix of college football, you need to survive the dreaded offseason. Might I recommend you smash that subscribe button down below. Give me your thoughts on who is the biggest threat to Georgia in the SEC, especially with Texas coming on in. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, your best of bros, Texas faithful, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we are on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking college football daily. Go ahead and follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, conversations surrounding our favorite sport never have to stop flowing. Amari Niblack this past year had a breakout season. He was phenomenal for the Crimson Tide and often was the third option in the passing attack behind Jermaine Burton and Isaiah Bond. But just because you're number 3 doesn't mean you can't be number 1 on multiple occasions. Had 20 receptions for 347 yards, 4 touchdowns on the year, an average of 14.7 yards per play. Guy is a good route runner, smooth hands, fluid when it comes to open space ability to create separation. He's going to be a difference maker down in Austin. And for Texas, this is a massive get because of it spreads out your offense and makes it more multiple. One thing that you know about Steve Sarkisian is that during his time at USC and Washington and Alabama and even down on the 40 acres, he's been wanting to make this offense as dynamic as humanly possible. He's been trying to implement different styles and various patterns and play concepts that are always going to keep defenses guessing, wondering what is the next play? Where are they going to go? Are they going to be a run-oriented team? Are they going to be spread? Are they going to be more pro style? Adding in a guy like Niblack does that for you. It only fortifies your roster that much more. And really, the names that have been added in this offseason, plus what's coming back to this offense, is really special. Like, we're talking 2020 Alabama special. Everybody remember that team? John Mechie. You had John Mechie. You had Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Tahil Billingsley. That was a team that eventually won a national title, and they were really damn good. And you kind of saw a little bit of that offense in 2019 with Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy. They were spread. They were able to do a ton of different options. They could run the football extremely well with Najee Harris and with Brian Robinson. That's the offense I want you to picture now in Austin. That's the offense I want you to picture now making their arrival in the SEC, because they got speed. They got dudes. Jonte Cook, nobody knows how fast he can be. I can tell you this much. Watching him in high school, the kid is a human highlight reel, and he's about ready to make his presence known in years on end in the SEC. Silas Bolden, elite return man, all Pac-12 player. He comes in. He can turn a 5-yard slant into a 25-yard gain. Matthew Golden, great on special teams at Houston, a very solidified number 2 receiver. That could be your red zone target, your big-time flanker. And then you add in Isaiah Bond, the guy who was basically the hero of Auburn. 4th and 31, makes a huge catch at the back of the end zone, plants his feet down on the ground, and stepped up extensively when it came to the SEC championship. And now you add Niblack to it too. So you can run a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. You got Gunnar Helm back there. You bring in Niblack. He can be your flex tight end. 2 wide receivers on the outside. Baxter and Blue, they split reps. You can run 21 personnel, 1 tight end where you have a flex option, 2 tailbacks in the backfield alongside Quinn Ewers, 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets. And it's going to be a challenge to see even a 5-star like Ryan Wingo reach the field now because of what you have. All torque, all gas, no break is actually arriving in Austin. It just took 4 years for it to get here. This is a team that means business. This is a team that has gone out of their way to say, you come here, you're being a part of a special program. You are not implementing other things on the outside. We're not taking in your theories about what worked at your school. You're coming into this program and you're going to be a part of something special. We do things different in Austin. Sign up or sign out. That's the MO that Sark is implementing. And you look at the way that he's added in these players, every single one of them was a difference maker at some capacity, whether it be Trey Moore winning AAC Defensive Player of the Year, Andrew Mbuka being the ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2021, Isaiah Bond stepping up extremely well, Amari Niblack stepping up extremely well. And these are also guys that Sark has been able to watch firsthand, whether that be him playing against UTSA in the past, him playing last year against Houston, playing against Alabama the past 2 seasons. He's had an MO on these guys, and every single one of them that comes in is a difference maker. Texas feels like a threat. They really do. When you look at the early preseason rankings, it's going to be challenging to build your top 5 because there's about 6 to 7 teams that all have a criteria of being worth the number 1 selection. And Texas falls in that line too. Veteranship on the offensive line, ability to understand that the offensive line has rapidly improved in terms of personnel structure and how well prepared they are for the next stage, elite defensive line, top 5 recruiting classes back-to-back years, superstars that are still untapped, waiting for their opportunity to make it onto the field, a veteran quarterback, still stability with these transfers coming in, and you're not losing anything. Yeah, you lost Jeff Choate as your linebackers coach. You brought in Johnny Nason, who just had a top 40 defense at Arizona this past year. And who's to say that now that Nason's not going back to Tucson, how many of those kids are coming over from Tucson? How many of those kids are going to be part of the Wildcats that want to make their ability known in the SEC? And don't think for one second that there aren't players that Texas would salivate over knowing are here. You're good. You're in a really good spot if you're Texas. And if I were a Longhorn fan, I would be feeling pretty comfortable. I've already told you guys, you look at a place like Texas, it is an elite job in college football. It will always be an elite job in college football, simply because of the pageantry and the exodus and the culture that has been implemented in Austin. But the feeling is that, oh, well, they're joining the SEC. They're going to have to know what it's like to be little brother for a while. Buddy, they brought their chair from the Big 12, and they're firmly planning it at the big boy table. They're telling another contender, you go sit down with the other losers. We're good. We're built for this. You got to meet our standard. And they're doing it by showing you what they have in the transfer portal. They're doing it by showing you what's coming in as part of this recruiting class. They're doing it by leaving the year feeling more confident going into next season than the past year prior. Continued growth every season underneath Sark. And it's come in multiple forms, with on-field production, with transfer portal names, and with the quality of player that eventually goes to the NFL. All of that's at display. Texas, they're going to be, in my opinion, a top 5 team for the preseason. They're going to be a favorite to hoist up the SEC championship and make it to Atlanta. They're going to be a favorite to miss out on a bye week and then be able to better prepare for the next stage of the college football playoff. And they absolutely are going to be a team that contends for a national title. This roster is too damn good for any conference, not just the SEC, for anywhere, to not be viewed as a viable threat that could eventually make it down to Atlanta and win the whole shindig. It's a very good move. Amari Niblack coming in opens up your offense. And if you get a little bit of 2020 Alabama, maybe you just say, thanks, Nick Saban, for showing us the way. But now, we're ready to take over. 40 acres are rolling. And right now, there's very few teams that can even touch what Texas is doing. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.